All right, Shalom. We are the real Hebrew Israelites coming day in and day out to prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great, which is America. First off and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makar-Kadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect, wherever you may be. This is the brother Shapaya from GMS Chicago, coming at you again with a quick lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Today's lesson, all right, I want to dive into King MASHA, King David, and the questions that were asked concerning this man, all right? And it's a response to Elder Apostle Stahar, the video he posted, right? So I'm going to go straight into it. Let's get into the prophecies, right? Deuteronomy 28:36. And Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which thou nor thy fathers have known, and there thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone. So what king was that talking about? It wasn't talking about King David, all right? When he was King David, all right? Because King David didn't go into captivity when he was ruling, all right? This was speaking of King David, all right? At some point in time in the future, all right, this was going to happen to him, all right? The same thing that happened to Jeremiah 17:4. Thou even thyself shall discontinue from thy heritage, right? So King David fell under the curses at a certain point in time, all right? So when did that happen, all right? Primarily, this has happened over here in Babylon the Great, right? The captivity where both kingdoms served together, okay? So this was talking about our king, King David, who we believe to be King MASHA, right? And the elders know that man better than us. So that's why the elders go over this history and go over the things that were taught by these great men. All right, because at some point in time, you have to believe, matter of fact, let's get it, that these men came back through reincarnation. All right, thus say the scriptures. All right. This is Hosea 3 and starting with 4. All right. Hey, y'all better go read the 3rd chapter. All right. Both of them. Hosea, the 3rd chapter. All right. And the other 3rd chapter in Zechariah. It says, for the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without a teraphim. All right. The Levitical priesthood was taken away. We lost everything. Like I said, Jeremiah 17:4, right? Verse 5, at the words to the children of Israel return. Now, how was we going to return? Read Baruch, the 2nd chapter, the 3rd chapter, and the 4th chapter. It says in the land of our captivities, we should remember ourselves, right? We're going to start calling upon Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So this is us returning to the Lord. And they should seek. Matter of fact, before I finish this, how was they going to start calling, how was they going to return to the Lord again? It should be Malachi. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. All right, Malachi 4:5. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh, and he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to the fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. All right, and we all know John the Baptist came back. All right, and that was Elijah, as Yahweh Shai said. All right, but to go further in this prophecy, to actually understand the depths thereof, all right, we knew we were Israelites in the Roman captivity when John the Baptist walked the earth, all right? We knew that. So when was it going to be the time where John the Baptist had to teach the children about the Father, all right, so we could return to the Father, all right? When did that happen? Matter of fact, since I'm, it's like if I seem to be jumping around, but these precepts coming out. All right, Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they shall teach thee. All right. So this thing started with who? Abba Bibbins, Elder High Priest YIQAB, High Priest AHRAYAH. All right. Then from High Priest AHRAYAH. All right, King MASHA, that's who the mantle was passed to, right? King MASHA, and who was it? Hey, who was the mantle passed to after that? All right, Elder Apostle Tahar. All right, so at some point in time, you have to consider these scriptures. Matter of fact, let me get Esdras. All right, let's get it. 2nd Esdras 1:39. Let's start with 38. Now, brother, behold, what glory, and see the people that come from the east, and to whom I will give for leaders Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Hosea, Amos, Micah, Joel, Obadiah, Jonah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, which is also called an angel of the Lord. So the Lord said these people was going to come, all right? And by the time Esdras was writing this, Abraham was gone, Isaac, Jacob, so on and so forth. And Isaac, we all know to be Yahushai, all right? It said I would give them, all right, for leaders, all right? That starts with who? All right, the pillars. Starts with King MASHA, King David, so on and so forth. All right, so at some point in time, this prophecy had to happen. All right, it's on the purple couch, I believe. All right, Shalakia. All right, these leaders had to come back in their roles. What was told to Daniel? Matter of fact, let's get to Daniel. And the fact that us here at GMS preach that we should be looking for King David and who he might be through the Spirit, right? That's prophecy. Because none of you other guys really teach that, all right? Let me see. Where is it at? So, there you go. Daniel 12:13. But go thy way till the end be. All right. For thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of days. So the prophets was going to come back and stand in their lots at the end of days. All right. Wait, how did King David know about Psalms 91? That prophecy, because he knew that prophecy was going to come in the future. And he was going to be one of those men. All right. Now, hold on. Since we talk about the end of days, right? In fact, let's get the Hosea 3 again. All right. Verse 5. Afterwards, till the children of Israel return, I told you how they returned, right? It's to seek Yahweh thy power, and King David, and David their king, and shall fear Yahweh and his goodness in the latter days. When did the latter days start? When Yahushua was walking the earth. So we're at the latter end of the latter days, right? Which means at some point in time, all right, we seek King David, and King David was here. All right? Which is Peter. That church built upon the rock. All right? And you have those three prime men. You had Peter, John, and James, man. So at some point in time, they had to come back. All right? The spirit of the prophets is subjected to the prophets. All right? So in the end days, we was going to seek him. Now, whether he passed away, hey, that don't mean nothing. The dead should rise first at the trump. All right? Matter of fact, let me get that. First Thessalonians 4:16. And the Lord himself should descend from heaven with a shout and the voice of the archangel, with the trump of the Most High, and the dead of Mashiach shall rise first. All right? With King MASHA, YIQAB, all right, those certain great men, ABBA Bibbins, they're going to rise. All right? Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. All right? And then it says, wherefore comfort one another with these words. So if men of the Lord have passed, all right, they're going to be risen again. All right? They're going to be risen again. That's nothing hard to be. That's nothing hard to conceive. What's hard to conceive to you, you scoffers and scorners? All right? And for some of you niggas to talk sideways, call Elder High Priest AHRAYAH a BAN. You're out your damn mind. If you truly in the spirit, you're gonna understand that the certain man that kicked this thing off really had the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. And there's some of the ancient prophets that Yahweh Shem Shai brought back to get this ball rolling. So, hey, listen. Somebody has to be John the Baptist. Somebody has to be Elijah. Somebody has to be King David. Okay? Somebody has to be Elisha. Somebody has to be Isaiah, Jeremiah, Daniel. Somebody has to be Tobit. Okay? Somebody has to be Malachi, Zechariah, Zephaniah. Somebody has to be the 7,000 that didn't bow their knee. But see, you guys are not spiritually discerned. You cannot see these things, man. Let me get this, man. Amos the 9th chapter. Like, what are y'all talking about? Amos 9 and 11. In that day will I rise up the tabernacle of David, which is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. What breaches are being closed up? All right? Who's standing in the gaps? Who's closing those breaches? All right? Ezekiel talks about the unmortared temper and the mortar that's actual tempered. We're the tempered mortar. All right? This is the third kingdom being built that starts with David, man. To close up the breaches thereof, I will rise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. Guess what? That started when they was on the scene. We're working upon other men's foundations. The foundation of Israel, the pillars, that start with the top 12. And King David is Peter. King MASHA, who was literally King MASHA, first king of Israel. You know, technically the first king of Israel is Yahweh, but you know what I mean, in man form. All right? So on and so forth. The mighty man of David. Somebody got to be Nathan. Like, you guys don't consider these things. And then you don't watch your mouth. You better wise up to who and whom you may be offending. All right? You guys are out of your fucking minds, man. Listen, Somebody has to be Joshua, the high priest. Those dirty garments. That has to be somebody. And there's only one man that really fits that bill. And YAHRAYAH, he comes out of that madness, man. And so with that, hey, that's all I want to touch on, man. You guys are not spiritual, man. We're dealing with great men in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Great men of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Men of renown, literally. Okay? Somebody had to be these great prophets of old, these great men of old. And they're back here today. Whether they may be sleeping or whether they may be right here today doing the work of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Hey, John on the island of Patmos, hey, he had to come back. All right? Hey, what did it say in chapter 10? And I'll end it with that, man. I'm going to let y'all chew on that meat. Revelations 10 and 10. And I took the book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, just like Ezekiel, right? And it was in my mouth, sweet as honey. But as soon as I have eaten it, my belly was bitter. All right? And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again. John was an old man. When did he leave that island to prophesy again? Before many people and nations and tongues and kings. So this is a prophecy about John the Revelator. He had to come back and prophesy. When did that happen? Y'all better go read y'all better go read the 3rd chapter, man. Hosea the 3rd chapter and Zechariah the 3rd chapter, man. And watch who the fuck you talking to with that. Shalom.